Alrighty, there we go. And we're back. Okay. Uh, this is going to be mainly just level, tile, and sprite creation stream. Nothing too fancy, maybe. Or maybe we'll do something interesting, who knows. Let's see about creating an extra tile, like a panel tile that sits on top of these. That's what I wanted to do. Also, there is something that we needed to do with the walls, and it's the fact that we wanted to convert these layers, extract tilemap layers as individual tilemap layer nodes. Yes, there we go. That gives us the base tile and the rocks tile. Right, so that's the feature of 4.3. We can extract it into multiple layers. We're going to do the same thing with the background. We got base. Okay, and we got cave background. Which, interestingly enough, the tile that's below is the one that's in the back. Actually, I think that's how it always is, isn't it? Yes, everything that is at the top is like pancakes. The top one is the most closest to the camera. Okay, cool. So, what do I want to do here? We have background panels. Mm-hmm. Okay, what if we don't want to do that? Interesting. What if we just want a single panel? Okay, technically that's what I was thinking, but maybe not with this particular panel. It's looking good. Okay, let's see if I can maybe come up with a single panel design. How big is this? Oh, we have some other panels here. Interesting. Okay, this is 128 by 128. Oh boy. Okay. Alrighty. I think the safe bet would be to go for middle gray. And then if we need to color it, we'll just color it. Yeah, we'll just color it using modulate. Okay. Interesting. Nice. Okay, so that's something. Let me see. Lower right diagonal is triggering the autism. There you go. How's this one for you? I got you, buddy. Hope you like it. Yeah, but for all intents and purposes, I am embracing asymmetry specifically because it gives it more life. You know, perfect straight lines don't really look all that great. Okay. Just gonna get it slightly brighter. Here we can go slightly darker. Go. You stream a lot. When I am in correct schedule and I'm not, screwing around. Yes. Well, that's just because I work on my projects a lot, so there's an excuse. There's a legitimate reason. Okay. There we go. Go ahead and save. Don't have that much time. Yeah, that is the downside. Is that for how much I stream, there's probably no one aside from a couple of particular nut jobs, Steven, who will end up watching the entire damn thing. Sultan. Okay. Let's go ahead and assets. Tiles. Okay. Big panel or fat. Let's do pH. Fat panel. Oh, don't want to join. Actually, I think we're missing something here. Okay. Yeah, okay. Probably should have done that on a separate layer, but okay. Should delete these empty frames at some point. Okay. Tile sprites. Fat panel. Okay. Looks like it doesn't show us suggestions based on the name. That would have been useful. Okay, well, I'm not seeing anything. Did I export to the right place? Oh, I didn't confirm it, so yay. There it is. Yup. Okay. That's actually looking pretty good. Man, it kind of drives me nuts that you can't replace entire islands of tiles. I already posted an angry comment about it, and it's already been downvoted into oblivion. Into Bolivian. If you wanted to do, like, say, let's say like this. Walls, base, sure. So let's say I paint this shape. Thankfully, they fixed the fill bucket, so the fill bucket fills in the whole thing. But I can't select cliffside and then replace, you know, the entire block. No, it just needs to replace the inside of it. Like, am I missing something, or... And then, yeah, so provided you have something that's this big, like, how do you go about replacing everything? Do you just nitty-gritty detail paint with your pen? Seems like a lot of work. Uh-oh. Don't do this, Godot. Don't you dare crash on me. We've... Oh, okay, thank you. Just gonna save. Save like you've never saved before. No, no, it's still throwing a tantrum. Oh, I think we might have actually crashed this time. Yeesh. Yup. I think we did. No. We're thinking about it. It heard me talking about it. Talking smack. Come on. Oh my god. Well, at least I didn't do much. Okay, this... Oh, holy crap. Okay. I think it's because I have the fill bucket selected, so it's attempting to process the entire selection. Oh, this sucks. Come on. Go away. Okay. Yeah. Alright. Let's try that again. Scanning files. Well, at least it shows us what it's doing. Hey, come on now. I've seen a video on this. It's the fake progress bar video. When it goes up to 99 to give you the sensation that it's doing something, and then it gets stuck on 99. Come on, I thought you guys were better than that. Okay, fine. While you are loading my project, you better be, I am going to work on a piece of foliage, except I can't because I need a screenshot. There we go. Okay, let's go over here. Base and no fill bucket. Yeah, okay, good. No fill bucket. It did save this. That's good. That's good at least. I did want to change the color of it though. Visibility. This one. I also noticed that we can't interact with these chains anymore for some reason. Don't know why. Let's fix that before we move on though. Okay, let's see here. Might have something to do with me moving the segment onto layer 9, was it? Vine rigid, layer 9. Okay. And then we had wall detection, but that was for tile maps. Okay. Apply central impulse. This right here. On general detection, body entered. We're applying a force here. General detection. We are scanning for layer 9. It's got priority now. Huh. That's interesting. Okay, what else? There's 3 places we're applying central impulse. This right here. And I think this one's actually done by the player, which it does not actually know about stuff on layer 9. So let's make it detect stuff on layer 9. Oh, okay. Fascinating. Really? Really? Vine disturber. We have the same code here, but this was with an area node. Ugh. Okay. So maybe we should just move it to general detection. Get slide collisions count. Alright, let me just try to run this. I'm pretty sure this is not going to work. Oh, okay. It works, but it doesn't work in the way that we want it to work. Because if we do it like this, it just like pulls everything out. We want it to use impulses. Okay. So I suppose we'll just have to move it back to where the player's at. Pickable objects. Let's see, where's the player? Okay, let's not make it be existing on layer 9. Well, hold on a second. Physics process. It's got to be this. On general detection, body entered. This has to be on layer 9, which it is. Vine segment group, which it is a part of. Oh, that's cool. You can like disable groups now. That is interesting. Global groups? Huh. Okay, alright, that's actually pretty cool. Groups got a bit of a workup. You can add a group, make a global. Oh, nice. Give it the descriptions. That's super cool. But we do need to make it actually work though. So we know that it exists on layer 9, which is Vine's rigid. And then the player has this general detection, which scans layer 9. So it should be doing this. So it should be working. And yet it does not. Why the heck not? Let's try this. Print Vine detected. Vine detected. Okay. Oh, maybe it's just so small that it doesn't even affect it at all. Central velocity and torque. Let's multiply it. Multiply by 2. It seems like... I don't know, man. This doesn't seem like it's affecting it at all. It is detecting it. I don't think it's going to sleep, and even if it did, as soon as we apply a torque or impulse... Oh, there we go. Okay, so what? The strengths have changed? Interesting. Alright, fair enough. We fixed it. That's all that matters. Okay. Cool. What's next? Next, we can put together a little piece of foliage that reacts to when the player walks through it. But it's not made in the same way that vines are made of. These are not rigid bodies. Okay, so 100%. We are going to take a screenshot at 100% zoom. Lock it up so we don't accidentally paint on it. Good. Okay. And maybe I should have the player inside. Yeah, just so that I have them as a size comparison. Okay, so the idea is that we're going to have a center point, and then if something is to the left of the center point, it'll wiggle to the left, and if it's to the right, it will wiggle to the right. Now everything technically then has to be on its own separate layer. Damn it. Screw it up as soon as I say that. Okay. And then just to obscure the center, we're going to fill it up. Okay, I almost feel like it's redundant to be painting over it with additional like lighting and shadows. Maybe just a single piece. Or single extra shading. That's fine. Maybe we've even already done too much. Yeah, maybe we did. Maybe we shouldn't have any sort of coloring. Just a nice single flat color. Okay. That's good. And we are going to crop this. Which that's not quite right, but there we go. Okay, disable the backgrounds. Save. Assets, sprites, foliage. Interactive ferns, even though they don't look like ferns. That is okay. And let's get this exported. Okay, so PNG, we do not adjust the size. We want everything to be the same. Ignore invisible layers. And that's it. Engine, sprites, foliage. Grass, bushes. We could just save it here, I think. GameMaker had a really interesting feature where automatically it would take a look at the sprites and trim off any alpha borders, top, down, left, and right, until it hits the first non-transparent pixel. Don't know if Godot does the same thing. Okay. So this is going to be bush dynamic. Sprites, foliage. Ah, dang it. The names. It's always the names. Okay. Top. Okay. Waiting. There we go. Perfect. Mm-hmm. Now, the next step would be to set center points. Mm-hmm. Push dynamic. Scripts. This would be foliage. Mm-hmm. Alrighty. How can we automate this? Well, I'm going to do node 2D. We're going to call it movables. Move everything here. What the shit is this? Void? What in the fresh C# hell is this? I don't remember doing that. Hold on a second. Editor. Oh god, I remember this a while back. Okay, there's a way to disable it. I don't remember how. Editor. Show scene root selection. Okay, and I'm pretty sure I didn't download the C# version of Godot. Okay, can I just delete that? Delta float? Oh my god, really? We know it's a float. Okay. Fine. Let's do var time 0.0 process time plus equals 5 times delta. And then we're going to loop for leaf in get children dot rotation degrees equals sine x plus, we need to know what number of the child this is. So we can do idx equals, man, I kind of wish that there was a for index and then like idx and something like this leaf. Like you can do in PHP when you're looping over an array. You can request both the ID and the index and the value itself. I think that would be cool. For now, we just have to do this, or we could do get child count. I guess then we have idx. And then we do get child idx. And we don't need this because we are already looping through the children numbers. Plus idx divided by, let's do 4. And then this is going to be a 15-degree rotation. And this is supposed to be time variable. Okay, objects. Interactable props. It's technically foliage. Bushes. Dynamic. Okay. Go back here. We don't need the player. We do need up here, however. Mm-hmm. Okay. Yes. Technically, that looks exactly like what I figured it should. The only thing that we need to do now, this has to be above, and we need to make it so that when we collide with it, So we're gonna give it the job of detecting the player. Go. Actually, maybe a rectangle will be better in this case. When something enters. Jeez. If body is in group, player group, what do we want? I think we want this speed to increase. So let's do var times speed. Now let's do interact scalar, because if it's a value between 0 and 1, we can adjust both the amplitude and the speed of interaction. So let's do this. We're going to say interact scalar is going to be set to 1.0. Here, we're going to say the speed is 2 plus 4 times interact scalar. And then this, the amount of disturbance is going to be 10, or plus, what is it, 5 plus 15? Or 5 plus 10 times interactive scalar. And then all we have to do at the end is to tell this to dissipate back to 0.0. Oh. Okay, seems to jiggle into it. Okay, that is definitely a float. This is also a float. Oh, this gets multiplied. Right. I mean, sure, but it doesn't quite seem right. It's because this becomes 1, and then instantly this becomes 10. Okay, so we need this value to slowly transition to become 1, and then go back down to 0. We could do that with a separate variable, or we could also do that with a tween, technically. If we have two tweens, they might conflict with one another. But I guess let's see. Tween property, self. Actually, hold on. Isn't there a direct one? Interpolate value. Initial value, delta value, elapsed time. No, I don't think that's it. I think it's just a blank value. Okay. Tween interval. What is that? Creates and appends tween interval tweener. This method can be used to create delays in the tween animation as an alternative to using delay to other tweeners, or when there's no animation, in which case tween acts as a timer. Interesting. Oh, tween interval. Okay, so you just add 2 seconds to it. Okay, fascinating. Okay. Tween property. Self. Property is called scalar. Final value is 1.0. And the duration is going to be 0.5 seconds. Now, as soon as we start doing this, this will conflict with it, but I'm just wondering what that would look like. Conflict as in they're both adjusting the same property. Oh, well, that actually works. Okay. What if it's going to be 0.2? Actually, we don't have to do this. We could just launch the tweens after it. Because if we do two twin properties, it's going to go first complete one, and then it's going to complete the second one, which is perfect. Because we can make it go over the course of 1 second. Which means the disturbance in the force could be amplified, so it's going to be a quick one. Oh god. Maybe a little too quick. Just a touch. At that point, you know something funky is happening behind those bushes. Okay, a little bit slower. And that works. Cool. Oh, get back there. And then if we place this in the first area, we could give it a function that executes that shake. So we could make make all these bushes wiggle upon the impact. Okay, that's cool. Fairly cheap effect. If only it wasn't so cut off. Okay, let's lift that up like that. Hey, Albert. Welcome. Is the night shift over? Alright, so I'll place it here, and then we can place it behind the wall. Place it behind the wall. It's also going to be behind the player. Which, you know, I think that's technically fine. It's not a big deal. The other player also affects it. That's nice. Okay. Now, technically, right now, it all wiggles in the same direction, which doesn't seem to be too bad. I didn't even notice that it was doing that. 2 more hours. Gotcha. Hang in there. Okay, let's try this. We're gonna do multiply by sine of position on the x-axis. So that's going to give us the whether or not this is a positive or negative value. And if it's on the left side, like these, it's going to go one way. If it's on the right side, it's going to go the other way. Okay. Right. I think because we're offsetting by idx divided by 4, it becomes kind of a moot point at that point. Okay. positive, positive, and then negative, negative. Oh, right. It's not the position of the element, it's the position of the child. Okay, so we're gonna have to do a variable called leaf, so we can talk to it. And then we'll request the position of the leaf, and it's gonna be based on the leaf's offset. Hey, there we go. So you see, any leaf that's to the left is going one way, any leaf that's to the right is going the other way. Okay, now maybe we can add the offset based on the index of the leaf. Yeah, that kind of works. What if we go smaller? Yeah, that looks good. And it's very simple. And once again, because the camera is so far away from these objects, maybe just dual color is all that we really need. Maybe we'll just do this as well. Nice. Nice indeed. And all I have to do to make more is quite literally just draw up more. There we go. Perfect. And this one dude looks like he's already sold the thing I was hoping for. Okay, so that's good. Let's see if we can do another one. And hopefully it'll also allow us to export. It almost looks like something you'd find at the shoreline. Okay, so this is top, leaf 1. This is where batch renaming would be helpful. Okay, beautiful. Now, we don't want to override what we had already created. Mm-hmm. So, ignore invisible, yes. The rest I think should be okay. Okay, so I can take this dynamic bush. I can save scene as. And the reason we want to do this instead of doing an inherited scene is because if we have a different number of leaves, then we can't really delete old ones. We have to disable them. Okay, cool. So let's take this. Bush 1. What the heck is this? Oh, that's groups. Okay. I see. Interesting. So it looks like it nests groups. Okay. Well, that was a mistake. Shouldn't have deleted that. Just had to move it out. Round 2. Let's give it a try again. Do 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 do. 2. There we go. Mm-hmm. Oh, it didn't ignore the invisible layers. Interesting. Yeah, bush 1 is the old one. I guess it didn't ignore the invisible folder, the invisible group. It would only ignore invisible layers. That seems like a bug. Oh well. Okay. Get rid of this. Nearest neighbor. And then we're gonna nest the leaves. And then top stays just where it is, I suppose. Okay. Then I can just move this. Maybe in this case, we might actually want to shrink it. So we got to make sure this shape is unique. Okay. Now, center point. And that should be it. Okay, there we go. Place another one. Oh, okay. This one seems to be a little bit smaller. And maybe it's a good idea to be hiding these collision shapes so we don't show them up in the level. Nice. Oh, that looks awesome. And then we can have some sounds. Okay. We can still customize it. Okay, we don't want to go super saturated. Yeah, fairly simple stuff. Just one sine wave and detecting collisions with an area node. Okay. Oh, okay. That's a little weird. It's only happening to that light, but for some reason it disappears. Yeah, it does it in the editor too. The heck? Hmm. Some of the plants appearing in front of some of the appearing behind. Yes, that is definitely something that would look cool. I think the biggest hurdle is making sure that when the plants rotate, they don't reveal the bottoms. I think, for example, this one might be okay. Matter of fact, maybe we should just stick to having these groups here and just export it to interactive ferns folder. This one, we'll probably want to move it down. And we'll take everything else, move it up, so that when the leaf rotates, we don't end up with the bottom sticking out beneath the tile. And this is for those that need to be displayed on top of the player, because if we want it to be displayed on top of the player, it also has to be displayed on top of the tile. So as long as we do this, I think that should be perfectly fine. Okay. So keep that visible. So then we can do export layers, which is already open. Export batch mode. We don't treat groups as layer, ignore invisible. Everything else seems to be okay. All right. Get everything exported. And bam. Okay. Go back here. So the sprites are foliage, interactive ferns. So this no longer ferns 0 or 1, which is going to be using these layers. So that's actually where it comes in handy, the fact that it exports groups as folders. Because then we just keep everything together. Okay, so let's go here. Nope, not here. That's the player's start. Here. Okay. Top gets replaced. Leaf 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And with that in mind, we need to move everything to almost. Okay. Okay, flat. And then like this. Okay, so now that is perfectly there. What about the center points? They're marginally displaced. Nothing really that's gonna cause too much trouble. Again, next ones are gonna be much more precise because we don't have to make these adjustments. So the idea is to make sure that we have this bottom cut off and nothing sticks out from the bottom. Because once we do that, we can place it flat on the ground. Mm-hmm. Interesting. That's a totally different leaf. Okay. Cool. Mm-hmm. And then we go back to the level. And oh. That explains why it's the same exact or totally different locations, because I overwrit bush 2 with bush 1. That was smart of me. Let's not do that again. Top. Okay, this one's fine. Nice. There we go. So that's flat now, which means when we move it around, as long as we move around the correct thing, it just snaps to the ground. That's perfect. And that means 3. So we can take this, delete 3 from here, and then this one's going to be after the player start, which means that one could be a little bit brighter. And now we should have a nice stereo depth. If it worked. Okay, let's see. Where's the player? Player start, dynamic bush. Ah, dang it. Player's all the way at the bottom. We don't want that. Let's see. Player start. When we create players, we add child. And then there's this add sibling. I think we have to move node, isn't it? Let's see. Okay, so we get parent. Sure, we add the child to it. When we add the child to it, let's make sure we use human legible names. And then we also need to move it to be right after where the player start is. Otherwise, it's all the way at the bottom. So we do get parent, move, child, and it needs the index. So we're going to say the child node, which is new player. We've just finished adding him. And then the index where we want to move it is basically going to be in the same place where the index of player start is. So we need to know what is the index of player start. We do get parent, find, cell. Oh, get parent, get children, and then find self. This is going to tell us what is the index, as in the order position of this node. And we're going to use that as the position of the player. So that's going to be placed right next to the player start, if it doesn't crash. Spawn order. That's something. Okay. Hey, there we go. So now the player's there. Beautiful. The particle still gets displayed beneath it. I don't know if that's a huge problem. You know, when you start thinking about layers too much, you're kind of asking for a lot of headaches. Oh. And we appear to be behind the holes. That's another thing we need to do. We need to fix. Okay. Hide the developer stuff. And then go back here. Light holes. This is going to be here. Go. Those doors would have to be behind the player, of course. Okay. And then this guy to be replaced. Cool. All right. That works. What else? Do we or do we not have some sort of large sprites for large cables? Large vine cluster. We might have to remake that. These look like ass. We have hanging wires. These are pretty small. But also pretty ass too. There's a one long one. Okay. take a screenshot. New document from memory. Okay, lock it up. And I'm just going to put together some very quick cables. Should probably enable stabilizer. Okay. Each cable is going to be on a separate layer. Okay, that's a good variety. I don't think we need too many more. Okay. What do we need with these? I think a little bit of dimension might go a long way. Hmm. I don't know if this fits stylistically, but let's hope so. Yeah, we only have one chance at this. We don't have a lot of gradients in the art style so far. So for all I know, this might actually look a little bit weird. Okay, and we'll be able to adjust the brightness after. Now, let me see if we have shading. We might want to also have a highlight, because we've already eliminated the ability to. Ooh, inner glow. That's not what I need. Inner shadow. We've already eliminated the ability to use this in a lot of other angles by introducing a shaded side, because the shaded side would never really face the light side, the source of the light. So we're just gonna go with making these have a highlight in that case as well. Okay. Copy layer style. Can I just paste it onto all of them? Nope, just one at a time. Cool. It almost looks like there's a bunch of cables above casting shadows on it, which is an interesting effect, but not what I need. Also, if it's plain wires, we can achieve that using a line 2D node. Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, this looks like ass. Let me double check this. So let's say we need a bunch of wires here. Okay, we got walls. So we need to place a line 2D node. We're gonna place it behind the walls. And then I can just do this. You can adjust the width. Get the color. Light holes would have to be behind. Okay. This color has to be... Oh, interesting. I'm not sure how that happened. I guess that's just the light behind it. Okay. And then I could just do like this. If I need this to be slightly curved. We don't need too many divisions. Now, it's not super smooth, but it is infinitely iterable. We can create all sorts of shapes at little to no cost. Yeah. Well, I think it looks perfectly fine from basic perspective. Yeah. All right. There's no rope physics here, but again, does everything need to have rope physics? Now, if I duplicate this and then move it up a bit. That gives us a shading. Of course, we can't really propagate it after. Could make this a tool that always copies all of its points and vertices over to a child node. And then we can make it so that if it's a child, it is automatically toggled to show behind parent. There you go. Set the color of the highlight. And bam. We now have shaded wire. Now, I honestly wish that they would add Bezier curves to these lines. I don't know if we don't have that, right? Let's see. No. I've asked it a while back, and I was then promptly laughed off of the subreddit, as always, for my silly suggestions. Who needs Bezier curves anyways? Seems like a waste of time. Okay, well. You know what? Let's just for shits and giggles give it a tool script real quick. Wouldn't be a bother. No, wouldn't be a bother. Somebody done shoved a fist up my ass. Oh, bother. Okay. Scripts, tools. We need tools, right? Do we have tools? We do not have tools. This would be more like props. Thick cable. Okay. We are going to make it a tool. Okay, and then in the process function, guess we'll need a variable called line data. Null. In the process function, if line data does not match points, then points will become containing line data. And then if get child, alright, let's do if has node. What if it's not named the way I think it's named? Let's just do if get child count is more than 0, and then if get child 0 is line 2D, then we're going to tell that child 0 points to be equals to points of this node, and that should propagate it. And then we should only do this if engine is editor hint. So only do this in the editor. Do not do this in the game. Okay. May or may not require. Oh, actually, it's is it crashing? Edit polygon. Points. Does it have signals? Draw hidden. Item rect changed. Emit it when the item's rect 2 boundaries, position or size have changed. The action taking place that may have impacted these boundaries. Technically, when we edit one of these points, if it's an edge point, it would have changed the boundary, but any of the inside points would not do so. So almost useful, but in this particular case, but not so much. Okay, line 2D. If line data is not the same, point. Oh, right. Okay, that was dangerous. Line data has to contain the points. This is our custom variable. It's the one that has to match. Okay, so could have lost that. And then maybe the script hasn't been updated. Soft reload script. Print. Points changed. Spencer, good day. Okay, so that right there is indicating that it's not detecting the points changing. Is editor hint. Don't tell me I have to reload the scene still. Is null if the points, which do have data, did not match. Line data will match. Yeah, I think we might have to close and reopen it. Mountain side post escape. Oh, not the right one. Are you doing a game jam? Nope, just my personal game. Hey, there we go. So now the background gets updated with the foreground. Even when I add additional points. That's perfect. I should do a game jam. Maybe once I make a little bit more leeway with these projects. Be a nice relaxing process. Well, there's nothing relaxing about a game jam, but okay, I digress. Cool, there we go. As a matter of fact, I could... I could hypothetically do two. One for the highlight, one for the shadow. Okay. Let's see if it's above 1. Then we'll do this. Match the points. So, duplicate. Just going to push that down. Except this one is darker. Okay. No, I mean, it doesn't look all that great, to be honest. Maybe it shouldn't be this thick. If we could blur it out a bit, I think that would work a bit better. Or maybe it's because it's just too bright. And by it, I mean the highlight. Okay. Yeah, that's looking pretty good. We're not gonna make it. Oh, damn it. It's right at the end. How long have I been a game dev? Since 2014. Here's an interesting question for everybody. If somebody asks you, how long have you been a game dev? What is an honest time frame that you can respond with? Do I respond with, you know, the moment I opened up Game Maker Studio for the first time, not knowing shit? Am I really a game dev at that point? At what point do you transition to actually being a game dev? To have that answer being an honest answer. Oh god, loud. Okay, cool. Well, that works. We now have some interactive bushes. Okay, if we enable grid. Okay, we should remember that we have to click on control. Or not. The heck. Or is it alt? Shift? Shift. Okay, we gotta click on shift before dropping the prop so that it would be added to the selected element. Not bad. From the moment the start is when you're a game dev. Alright, fair enough. And then angry, bitter motherfuckers on Twitter be like, oh, you haven't released anything? You call yourself a game dev? Oh. You know how it goes. Anything to win an argument. Nice, man, that looks good. Except it keeps placing the bushes as children of each other. I think the shortcut might have changed. Okay, so these are front. Place it like this, places at the bottom. If I do this, hold shift, it places inside, but it also selects it. So if I do the next one, it just places it as a child of that. Okay, did we just roll back right back to the initial problem? I swear, hold on. There was a shortcut that you click to place something as a child without selecting it. Yeah. What? Come on. Did we just take 2 steps back? Not we, but the engine dev. There was I swear, there was a shortcut. You hold it, and then it places the node into a selected node without selecting it. Because now if I place another one, it will just place it as a child of that one. Technically not a big deal, but in certain cases, it kind of is. Technically, if somebody who never wrote a line of code in their life, would Excel spreadsheet algorithms count? Hypothetically. Basic mathematics. Okay. Nice. One of the challenges is that we'd have to make sure that everything looks like it just belongs together, instead of just being a random amalgamation of elements. And I believe a part of that is the choice of color. You need everything to just sit well together. Might also be that we just go super hard on high contrast. So we have this dark area and then these super bright holes in the wall. Might be okay as long as we don't over abuse it. Okay. What about you, Space? Are you participating in any game jams? That is interesting. Oh. Oh. Okay. I think we might be actually hitting a limit of how many of these nodes, how many of these light nodes we're allowed to have in one place. And why do we have an editor-only light? Maybe if you're like working on a dark scene and you need to light it up to see it, but it doesn't show up in the game. Hmm. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, these lights are bugging out. Which means we might have to start using sprites with additive blending instead. I think that might just be the case, because as soon as some of the lights leave the screen, this starts looking like it works again. Oh, that's really buggy. Hmm. Not what I'd like to see. Just have an occasional shadow. Yeesh. Yeah, that's really out of whack. Okay, is there actually a limit? Let's look this up. 16 light sprites. Okay. Right. Okay, so what if I do this? What if I change type to a sprite? And then we're going to do a canvas item. And then we're going to change the blend to add. This is actually how I used to make lights in GameMaker Studio. Which, yeah, realistically, these aren't really light nodes. Also, they have a bit of a different behavior. If I do it this way, it actually washes out or gives a hazy look to the backdrop. Whereas the light node behaves a bit of a different way. Let's see. That could work, though. There's no limitation on how many sprites we can have. I'm just hoping this isn't going to blow out the player, though. They seem to stack pretty well, too. Oh, yeah. Can it blow out the player? Technically, the player had disable lights, but these are not lights. These are sprites. Okay. It does affect the player just a little bit, but it doesn't seem to be messing around. Yeah, the player doesn't get blown out, so that's good. We can very briefly catch the edge of the light, but it's not really that noticeable, so you have to actually be trying to find it to spot it. Okay, that works. And then I suppose that makes sense. Shouldn't be using lights for non-light operations. To be honest, as long as it doesn't bug out, that's a fine enough solution for me. Still though, 16 lights? Really? Anytime more than 16 lights intersect an area, even if the most of them are occluded by the environment, increase light to the cap. Avoiding the limit of maximum 16-point lights per object. So we can have more lights, but we cannot have a single object be illuminated by more than 16 lights. And our tile happens to be a one big object. The way 2D lights rendered makes it impossible to expose this as a project settings. Number has to be hard-coded for reasons similar to the number of 3D lights per mesh. Okay. Alright. That's fine. We have a solution. Don't have to worry about it. It also has an interesting color augmenting effect, which in this case, don't really mind. Okay. Cool. That's not really all of them, but let's see. Let's see. This thing is it's technically still bugging out a little bit. There we go. That just probably means that there's more lights overlapping where there shouldn't be. That is a light, isn't it? Yep. Oh well. Easier on the renderer. That's a point light. Okay. There we go. And now by getting rid of this light, this one stopped bugging out. And this one can stay as a light because it casts a shadow. Even though that's a very minute shadow. That's just an aerial. That's 3. What's the fourth one? The fourth one's over there. So that's this one. Okay. John Warner. Good day. Would you change the wall tile Z index forward so the sprite lights don't draw over them? I actually like the fact that they're drawing a little bit over them. I don't want it to be fully, completely cut off. For certain lights, I'll just enable shadows to do that. And I try not to introduce like Z depth changes too often, if any at all, if I can help it, just because of the implications of how much of a headache it is going to become when you have to work with like hundreds of levels, and you have to remember to do that for every one. So try to be sparing with these features. Okay, I'm gonna block the backgrounds. There we go. I do like the fact that the layers of the tiles are separate ones, separate now. That is super handy. Although something I'm not a fan of is the fact that the tile map does not remember which last tile I was using. Oh, that's not right. That's not right. That's right. Okay. With the tile map, have you ever experienced objects getting stuck between tiles? Yes. Um, Especially when I use rigid bodies, rigid physics. It wouldn't get stuck, but it would, like, if you have a circle and it's rolling across the flat ground of tiles, it might actually get caught on one of the corners and bounce back. Very annoying. I've seen somebody on Twitter write a little tool that generates a single collision shape out of all the tiles. It just reads the tile data. Okay. I think I might want to place this over here. Yeah, other than that, I don't really have any solutions on that front. It's a very annoying problem. Like in 4.3? So far, yeah. So far, the changes are very quite welcome. Go. Let's see this. Is that something you'll implement in this game? I'm using character bodies for collisions here, so I don't really experience that issue that much. It's mostly when I use rigid bodies. Oof. Okay, that is correct, but these need to be behind the player. Yeah, for this game, it's not really enough of a problem. Okay. That seems a bit more like it. Yeah, something I'm going to have to pay attention to is not placing obstacles willy-nilly without rhyme or reason. Okay. Oh. Ah! Oh, made it just in time. All right. Okay. We'll go here. And beautiful. All right. Man, as much as I like the little bits and pieces, I wish I could make much larger leaps of progress. Was what we achieved sufficient? I mean, I know progress is progress, but still. Okay. Well, I think maybe it would be wise to wrap it up for today. I don't think there's a heck of a lot that I can do. The rest is just level decorations and all that jazz. Cool. Maybe we can make like a big 128 by 128 pixel tile of vines. Because so far we've done vines as single sprites. Can roll it in for the next time. So far we've done vines as single sprites, which means we had to have a whole bunch of them for variation, and we can't really cover large areas with them. Maybe make like a vine auto tile. Okay. I like the interactable bushes. Those add quite a bit. Okay, cool. That's it. Wrap it up here. Continue on the next one. Bushes are cool. Make more variation. Yeah, maybe like 3 or 5 more. There's only so much we can do with just one. Maybe like a really long one and a small short one. But that should be good. All right. So we'll continue next time. Thanks, fellas. Appreciate the company.